Hi, I'm George Daniels, Transport Canada commercial pilot in front of our Cessna Cardinal, and I'm the author of my autobiography, the new book, George Works, Lad to Leadership, the Making of a New Canadian, that's available now on the Friesen Press bookstore online. Our flight plan today includes giving you a few highlights of what's in my book, George Works, Lad to Leadership, the Making of a New Canadian. When I came up to retirement, I realized the rapid change and fragmentation of work was accelerating, and people were changing their jobs frequently. They were having to readjust their careers, and I had done that for all of my working life. So some of the things that I had experienced, done, and achieved would be of help to people in the future. Thus, I wrote George Works, Lad to Leadership. Growing up in England under the Blitz in World War II as a youngster was on the one hand scary and on the other hand could be fun. Imagine overhead were barrage balloons, huge barrage balloons, the dash and daring of the Air Force, shrapnel that we collected as souvenirs. We left on the luxury liner, the Aquitania, which was called the Ship Beautiful, the last of the four stackers. We'd never seen so much wealth, beautiful food, etc. So the Aquitania also arrived at Pier 21 in Halifax. We were told that we were going to see cowboys and Indians. There was no cowboys, no Indians, but we discovered something we hadn't seen, and that was a hot dog with sweet mustard. We'd arrived in Canada. In the High School of Montreal, there was a lot of athleticism going on, and I was just a little skinny guy, but I was good at track and field. So later on in life, I ran the Boston Marathon, and of course the Boston Marathon is to fitness as is the Indianapolis 500 to car racing. My first flight was at the Cartierville Airport, where my brother and I were invited to go flying by a doctor who had a little airplane called an Aranca C5. It was a bench seat that would take 3 people, no doors, no tail wheel, an 80 horsepower engine. He took off and flew around St. Joseph's Oratory. We had the wind in our ears and the exhilaration of flying at about 500 feet above the cathedral was exciting. It was my first flight, and I determined to pursue it further. Being a bush pilot was an exhilarating experience. It really gave you an opportunity to hone your skills as a pilot. Not only did you fly in unusual conditions, in the wintertime on skis, and in the summertime on floats, and of course every lake is a runway with different directions. And one minute you've got to be your own mechanic, you've got to be your own baggage handler, you've got to know how to navigate up north without many navigation aids, so you have to read the charts extremely well. In the late 50s, the Pine Tree Line and the Mid-Canada Line was cancelled, as at the same time was the Avro Arrow. So bush flying, general aviation really suffered. So now not being employed, I walked into the Cessna distributor in Malton, explained to them what I did. The manager said, fine, you're going to be a salesman, made me a salesman of Cessna aircraft, and in the first year I sold 12 airplanes. My reward was getting a bonus from the Cessna Aircraft Company, and it turned out to be an alarm clock, which I thought was quite amusing. In my book, George Works, there's an extensive story about how I switched from aircraft sales to media sales. I worked in the television business, subsequent to that, in the radio sales business, and became one of the top sales executives in the broadcast business in Canada. After that, we jumped to being rated by the automotive manufacturing people, and subsequently was involved in some of the best advanced castings for the automotive business. The golden years retirement gives you an opportunity to do things you didn't have time to do when you were working full-time. So one of the first things I did when I retired was buy a share in the Collingwood Flying Club Cessna Cardinal, where we're sitting today. I got really involved with the Andrew Daniels Fish Stewardship Foundation, which is in honor of my son Andrew, who is a consummate fisherman. So we support all fish habitat regeneration in Muskoka and southern Georgian Bay. These are just some of the things that I've been doing in retirement, and of course having the time to write my life story, George Works Lad to Leadership, The Making of a New Canadian. Lots of information there. You can buy it too at the Friesen Press bookstore online. You'll enjoy.